away in most cases, especially if you're a ninja when it comes to getting out of line twists. That you don't just sort of hang there, that you really fight the right way, fight smarter, not harder necessarily. And you get you to the swing sets, try different techniques. Is it the snap the legs and pulse the shoulders in the other direction? Or is it the Timmy method, the swinging the legs around, or a combination of both? You try one. If it doesn't work, you try something else. And in between them, you go fight, fight, check. Fight, fight, check. Yeah. The trouble is that right at the beginning, there's just so much programming about, okay, you got line twists. Immediately they're like, it's a malfunction, because they list it as, it's a malfunction. And immediately people go into fear mode, like, oh, they're expecting to cut away. Maybe I'll do a little trying to fight to say that I did, but I'm expecting to cut away. I just think of it as it's just another thing that you have to sort out, like a funneled exit. It doesn't mean you just, arch, reach, pull, because you had a funneled exit. You work it out. And you just give yourself that altitude, with your initiation of the deployment, where you've got the time to look at it and go, what is it? Which way is it spinning? If the whole system is rotating. And if it's not spinning, you've got a pretty good chance of getting out of that thing, even if all you do is get long and straight, and you just hang there. Maybe you push your risers together and put your legs straight down like that. Maybe that alone is enough. Because the outward forces does want to unravel that twist. The pressurization in the airfoil. It usually will. But we're still gleaning more information through different experiments, different ideas. I'll be sitting around the campfire and somebody say, "I tried something to get out of line twist, and it was like epiphany." Like, all right, well, tell me. I want to know that too. And sooner or later, I'll be in a situation where I get to try that one and see if it works.
So you were recommending both legs at the same time, or not recommending, but one example you were showing was both legs at the same time? Yeah.
Yes, it helps if you push the risers together, which sort of helps bring the slider down. It pulls everything in, and you might even want to hold yourself up from the risers, like actually doing a little bit of a chin up. You put your legs and your knees up in front of you together, and then you throw them in a circle, around and around and around. And just the momentum of your feet going around, as long as you're going in the right direction, your body it builds momentum over time, as opposed to the snap, kick, which it's not cumulative in its efforts. So it's a completely different philosophy, and it's really impressive. It's really, it got me out of big trouble a few times last year.
I'm gonna have to practice that in the harness at the drop zone. That's interesting.
You do. I would suggest starting with just hanging from something, and just lift your legs up and see if you can get your body rotating. Obviously, something that can rotate, and just see if that'll turn you. Or just hang from the hanging harness where you don't even get in it, because it's a little bit easier that way for sure. But yeah, there's a little video I put up on YouTube showing it. But you just got to remember that whatever you're doing, this thing is part of it.
I always spread my risers now right after I deploy.
Yeah,
just to try to avoid.
It's the best prevention that I've come up with so far. It's just to sort of lock it into place. And if you do get the line twist, just arch and get big while it's getting worse. And as soon as it comes to a stop, you push those risers together, and you can do that leg circle if you want in addition, and you'll spin out so fast that you'll have to grab the risers and spread them again to keep from spinning up the other way.
Oh,
that's how effective it is. Yeah. The first time I saw Timmy's video over Dubai, on his 75, where he got a bunch of line twists. I can't remember what his reason was for getting the line twist, but he did his little wiggle worm thing and added 2 more line twists because he got confused and went the wrong way. And then he went the other way and got him all the way out. And the whole thing took him, maybe he lost 500 feet of altitude. Anybody else would have had to chop that parachute. It's really impressive. But as long as you know that there's options, that's what I'm trying to teach, is that if you're aware of altitude And then, you know, you go, all right, I've got some time, you know, not infinite, but I've got 10 seconds to go at it. And now I'm gonna go at it hard and heavy and do what I can to get out. Almost always I can. Almost always. And here's the thing, right? So people go, well, but you're teaching people to, you know, to fight a malfunction when they should be chopping a malfunction. Yeah, I am. And that could lead somebody to fight below a hard deck. Yep. But what about when you're under your reserve and you've got 6 line twists? You're all out of parachutes. So developing these techniques with a certain, you know, fervorous passion to get out of it someday might save your life. Because there's nothing that stops a reserve from getting line twists. I mean, we do what we can to pack them well, but then the person is, you know, maybe spinning under a malfunction and, you know, they get sent off tumbling.
Is there a quick way to determine which way you need to untwist? Because I've had this thought, I'm going to go in the wrong direction.
Yep, you will. Absolutely. And you'll immediately notice it. But the best thing to do, I think, is when you get to the end of that twisting up process and you just sort of stop for a minute, you know, push the risers together, that alone should give you the correct momentum. But if you're all woppy-jarred and you don't know which way is up, just stop. Don't do a thing. Get narrow so you're not making it worse, because a big arch now is going to hold you in position, you know, or a big reversed arch, right, which is what people tend to end up in the spinning line twist malfunction. In this, you know, butt to earth, spinning like this on their back, and it's very stable. It's too stable. That's the problem. So you need to assume a body position that barrel rolls well. You go to the wind tunnel. How do you barrel roll? Right? You don't do it with your legs bent. You get your knees together, you stick your feet out, you make yourself long and skinny, and that alone will allow the natural forces to begin the process, which will give you the idea of what direction you want to be kicking or fighting or orbiting or whatever it is. Ooh, the foot orbit. That's what I'm going to start calling that. It is, right? It's description. It's a foot orbit. Because he calls, the guy that invented the technique, he calls it the salmon. Well, he's Danish, so he calls it the salmon. It's like, first of all, that L is silent, dude. But it's, it doesn't describe it to me. Salmon does this. So that's the opposite of what we want to be doing. It doesn't do this oscillation. So.
I'm thinking it's the pommel horse.
Oh yeah, I know it's yeah, sure. yeah, the palma.
Pommel horse.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it works. I mean, as long as the description actually registers in understanding, but the salmon doesn't do that for me.
No, the pommel horse is a good example.
Yeah. It's, but, you know, I have to say that there's times where I try to demonstrate it in front of a group, you know, teaching a canopy course, in something about the way, like especially if it's hanging up with the attachment points real wide far apart. I've had trouble sometimes, where if it's a little bit narrower, then maybe it would work. So you have to consider that you might frustrate yourself with whatever you're trying to do it on and think that you can't do it in the sky. Try it in the sky. It's really quite natural. You're going to get line twists. It's just a matter of when. Don't freak out about it. You know, quick alti check. And I mean, if you just checked your altimeter before you pulled. I don't know if you need one immediately, but you should do one within a couple of seconds of beginning your fight. Which is why chest mat altimeters and knee altimeters don't work that well in a malfunction. It's something that's here, where you can bring that altimeter to your eyes. Is very helpful.